Moi drodzy, prezentacja nowego, premierowo, pierwszy raz będzie pokazany nowy tryb w Hearthstone'ie. Sprawdzamy. O kurwa.
Welcome. I'm Ben Lee, Game Director of Hearthstone, and today we'll be taking you on an in-depth exploration of our brand new game mode,
Internet Explorer.
Hearthstone Mercenaries. But what's this new setting all around me? Welcome to the Mercenary Village. This will be a central home base for you and your growing crew of mercenaries, evolving over time as you take on bounties and battle other players. Mercenaries is truly unlike any other mode we've added to Hearthstone before. It offers a persistent world full of choice and progression to explore alongside your personalized team of Azeroth's legends.
No.
Today we're excited to share numerous mercenary reveals, a tour of the village, and some big surprises that you won't want to miss. So whether you're a thrill-seeking opportunist or a benevolent bounty hunter, there's always a job and the promise of treasure for those of you up to the challenge.
Mam
Thank
tłumaczyć.
you all
Dobra.
for joining us. And
Dziękuję,
now,
że
let's
dołączyliście
jump
do nas.
straight in with our official trailer reveal.
Od razu przechodzimy
Hearthstone
bezpośrednio do
Mercenaries.
oficjalnego trailera nowego trybu. Proszę.
Kazakas, how long have we plotted and planned?
Dear Lady Presta, it's finally our grand
Opportunity. We'll need
Tańczymy!
some mercs to do our dirty work.
A, i to są te postaci.
You can I'm in trouble. Bring these bounties in and I'll pay double. You'll go from rags to riches in a snap.
Oh, get yourself some gear and grab a potion. Glory waits for you under promotion.
You know it.
Just be smart and wear your thinking cap.
Now, honest labor really can be its own reward. But life is so much sweeter now you have a great sword. Step right up and you can be a mercenary. They say that fortune favors the bold, but fortune does you favors when you got enough gold. You're influencing people and you're winning some friends. The story goes, your glory grows, but the
Battle Royale.
friends be a boss, king or queen, and we'll rule everything when you're a mercenary.
Dobra, zaraz zobaczymy.
Welcome back to the village, everyone. We hope you
Co to
enjoyed
znaczy
that
mercenaries? To jest najemnicy?
Mercenaries drops
Po
you into
polsku?
the rich world of Azeroth with a unique perspective. Instead of being the almighty individual hero, you'll play leader to your own mercenary enterprise.
Dobra.
This journey will take you to the far reaches of Azeroth, hunting bounties for increasingly dangerous foes to reap the rewards. And these jobs don't only net you nice coin, the battles along the way level up your mercenaries to unlock abilities and allow you to find upgradable items. Now I'm sure
Dobra.
you're eager to venture off to take on your own dangerous and hopefully lucrative bounties, but first, let's join Valera in her hunt for Hagar and get familiar with an entirely new
No,
system
będziemy
of
polować na
combat with
Hogera?
Hearthstone Mercenaries.
Co ty
You
dupisz?
may remember from our BlizzCon line
O
announcement
kurwa.
that Mercenaries is Hearthstone's take on an RPG experience with roguelike mechanics. Let's start by taking a
Dobra.
look at a mercenary in play, where you'll first notice familiar attack and health stats. What's totally different is
No,
that each
3.16,
mercenary has a core
okay.
set of unique abilities which appear as actions
I
when
każda
selected.
karta ma jakieś
There's
umiejętności,
tremendous
tak?
variety in how these can impact the battlefield: healing, buffing, summoning,
Okay.
sizzling, and of course, going face. Wait, there is no face. That's right. In Mercenaries, victory is achieved by wiping out your opponent's team.
A, czyli trzeba
That might take some
po
getting
prostu
used to
wyczyścić
for
stół. Nie ma
All
tutaj...
abilities have a speed
nie ma
value,
karty
and some also
postaci.
have a cooldown. Speed determines the order of actions. The lower the number, the sooner that action will take place. Cooldowns, on the other hand, tend to come with the strongest abilities. When a mercenary comes into play, any of their abilities with cooldowns will be inactive.
No dobra, ale
until
na
enough
jakiej
turns
zasadzie te
pass.
karty będziemy dobierać? To jak
Once
arena?
used, the timer starts again, and you'll definitely want to be making use of these potential game changers. In each round of combat, you'll first choose your team's moves in the command phase before watching the battle unfold all at once. Positioning, timing, and strategic planning of your turn are critical in the outcome of combat. This can be tough, as the state of the board may change considerably once the spells start flying, and that clutch meteor finisher you were banking on won't happen if the mercenary has fallen. So, you've probably also noticed the red, green, and blue coloring of each mercenary stat
Protectors,
box. These
Fighters,
represent if the minion
Casters.
is a protector,
Dobra.
fighter, or caster respectively. We call these roles, and they play a major part in the makeup of mercenaries. Let's take a look with a couple examples.
Co to za młody
Meet the
Anduinek?
main tanks of mercenaries. While they aren't always the quickest,
Garrosh
protectors
Hellscream.
love holding the front line and taking most of the punishment so that your squishies don't have to.
Ale to
With
po prostu
abilities that grant
tank,
taunt and
tank,
a
ale
cartload of
to...
endurance to boot, they'll help your team control the flow of the fight. Take a look
Okay.
at Jaraxxus,
Chyba
Aragon Lord
Jaraxxus,
of the
no.
Burning Legion. As you might notice, protectors can also dish out some serious damage. Trust me,
Atak
you
enemy
don't want to catch
deadblock,
these
okay.
fists if he's teamed up with demons.
Okay.
Next, let's take a look at the wielder of Tusks of Manaroth himself, Garrosh Hellscream. If anyone knows how to properly armor up for a fight, it's this guy. The more enemies, the merrier, as Garrosh's Horde Strength ability will add increasing bonuses to his health. Maybe think twice before you summon that extra minion. When you're looking to cut through the competition with raw damage,
O, Blade
fighters are
Master!
the way to go. Their high
O,
attack
z
makes
chęcią.
them key threats on the battlefield, along with abilities that keep your team's offensive pressure building. Check out War Master Voon. Favored by dragons and feared by enemies, this fighter will keep your opponents running for cover with a flurry of flame
Jakie
and
to
acid.
zadanie?
Voon can also summon additional dragons into the fight for a quick strike that simultaneously empowers his fire breath.
Divine
If up
Shield
close and
Rush.
personal is more your style, you're going to want a fighter like Samuro in your squad. Unleash a whirlwind of blade on your foes, or create deadly deception with mirror images.
No.
While the Blade Master doesn't have the highest health, direct damage
Czyli
is
mają
always a gambit,
identyczne
since a
skille jak
well-timed
w
whirling
Warcrafcie
blade can
3.
mitigate future damage. There's no
No,
denying that blades and
identyko.
brawn contribute to a formidable team's front line, but you'll also want to bring some backline firepower and a good
Anduin,
heal.
zobaczymy,
That's where
co
casters
będzie
come
miał
in.
Anduin,
They keep your
casters.
team in the fight and unleash devastating
No co
spell
może mieć
combos
Anduin,
to turn
no?
the tide of battle. Who
Heal,
better to start
res.
with than our favorite prodigal priest, Anduin Writ.
No,
Harness
Holy
the power
Nova,
of Holy to buff and
Penance,
sustain your team's health throughout
Holy
the
Word.
fight, while also
To
delivering
w ogóle
consistent
jakby
damage
z
to the
WoWa
enemy
bezpośrednio
team.
skille
As a leader
są.
of humans in Azeroth, Anduin's abilities are significantly amplified when fighting alongside more of his kin. Moving on, ready your ahs and chat, because Blink Fox is up next as another caster in
Ahoo!
Hearthstone Mercenaries. This crafty K9 of the Arcane uses the enemy team's abilities against them while also refreshing and hastening friendly cooldowns. Notice the Arcane combo keyword. In Mercenaries, this means a bonus
Co?
effect if a previous Arcane ability
do
was
końca
used by
tego.
another member of the
Jeszcze
team this turn. And yes, there are combos for all schools of magic. We'll be checking out examples of spell school synergy teams later on in the show. Let's cover one more central piece of the role system. In Mercenaries, there's a relationship of strengths and weaknesses to consider when building teams and choosing engagements.
Okej.
Protectors deal double damage to fighters.
Aha.
Fighters deal double damage to casters.
Aha.
Casters deal double damage to protectors.
Aha.
Multiplier applies to both attacks and abilities,
Takie
but only
kamień
on
nożyce.
offense. Opportunities to target these weaknesses and deal critical damage are contextually highlighted on the
No
game
dobra.
board. And when planning bounties, you'll be able to discover some information to
O!
use this system to your
O!
favor.
A to jest
Most of the
fajne.
time,
Co to
it's
jest?
best to have a team that can confidently take on a range of roles. In the battlefield, capitalizing on the weaknesses of your opponent's roles while being mindful of your own is a critical piece of tactical decisions. I hope you enjoyed a first look at a handful of mercenaries, and there's so much more to explore. How stats and abilities rank up as you level, treasures you discover in bounties that modify and amplify abilities,
Slay
and
the
even unique
Spire.
equipment
No
for
właśnie
each mercenary
dużo
that bolsters
ludzi
their kit
zauważyło,
in
że jest
variety
tutaj
of
bardzo
ways.
podobne to do Slay the
We'll be
Spire.
unveiling all of that today, so stick around. Now let's check back in with Hasiba at the campfire.
No co tam, kobitko?
Thanks, Joe, and a warm and cozy welcome from the campfire to all of you. Let's start the tour here at the centerpiece of your mercenary village, where
Hasiba.
visitors can stop by for a little R&R. During their stay, these campfire guests often have tasks you can pursue for special rewards. But the question of who will come to your village and when is mostly up to chance. In-game, visitors will appear around your campfire as seen here. Clicking on the campfire presents you with the task board, where you can see the objectives along with rewards for completion. This is pretty similar to Hearthstone's quest system. Just remember to come back to the task board after you've fulfilled the requirements to collect your reward. Speaking of task rewards, let's talk about equipment, which is often a major reason you'll want to complete a specific visitor's job. One of the core ways in which you'll define a mercenary's playstyle is through their equipment. Only one piece can be active at a time, with 3 unique options to collect and upgrade. Let's take a look at what Illidan is able to acquire. Razor Fist will provide a straightforward damage bonus to his Winged Assault ability. We all know
Dostanie plus
Illidan
atak.
loves to attack, and this defensive option will prove useful if your team is lacking in the heals department. I'm sure you can already imagine what's coming next. Of course, you'll make for
Aha,
one
że będziemy
very
mieli jakby
happy betrayer
przedmioty
if
jeszcze
you can acquire
na tych
and
bohaterach.
equip the Warglaives
Oprócz
of
umiejętności
Azeroth.
to
With
jeszcze
Warglaives
będzie
in hand,
equipment,
Outcast
czyli
attack
ekwipunek.
becomes a massive threat to the enemy's flanks. Moving on, let's introduce Karen Bloodhoof. As you'll see, his equipment options present a significant strategic decision. Reincarnation pairs great with this tanking Tauren, and may even foil your opponent's command phase game plan. Swift Totem will amp up the bonus from Endurance Aura, allowing your team to unleash big abilities well ahead of your enemy's actions. Thunderous Sash, on the other hand, can make Karen's War Stomp a frustrating hindrance to enemy teams that rely on getting in early attacks and buffs. Making sure your mercenaries are well equipped is always going to give you an edge in combat, so be sure to keep an eye
ale
on those
widać, że z
visitors and
Indii
complete
jest.
their tasks to gear up. And hello again, Ben.
Cheers, Synergies. You know, sitting around a nighttime campfire before going into battle, it almost reminds me of...
Ben! I think something's wrong with the
O
portal.
kurde!
Ah, of course.
Aktorstwo jak w
Diablo.
filmie porno.
Today we're
O,
thrilled to announce
zobacz,
that
co się
Hearthstone
dzieje.
will be welcoming and fully embracing a character from a different Blizzard universe. Initially playable as a mercenary, it is now our pleasure to introduce you to the arch rival of the Nephilim.
O kurwa. A czemu muzyka była z Diablo? O kurwa, co jest? Co jest? Co się dzieje? Dymon. Firestorm. Piekielna. Diablo Mercenaries Bundle pre-purchase now. O, moi
The
drodzy,
Lord of
Diabolo.
Terror will go live at the launch of Mercenaries and can be found in
I
Mercenary
co,
packs.
tylko dostaną
Also be
go
available in the
osoby, które
Diamond
kupią
Diablo
ten pakiet.
pre-purchase bundle, starting today. We hope you're as excited as we are to bring a little terror to the tavern.
Wait, you're bringing what to my tavern? Oh, hey again, everyone. Now, of course, any good
Ja
village needs an
pierdolę, to jest
outstanding tavern,
niesamowite.
and this will play an important
Ja bym
role in
zagrał
your
chyba lepiej,
mercenary
jakbym
journey.
się naćpał i
Let's take a
napił.
look in-game. Once
To
you
tam-
build a tavern,
What?
it will function as your mercenary collection, where you can customize teams and individual characters. Like the card collection, you'll be able to navigate the full
King
library
Mukla.
of mercenaries. Each has their own page to manage portraits.
Aha,
abilities,
dobra,
and
dobra,
feats.
czyli tak to będzie
We love
wyglądać.
that
Czyli
Mercenaries
mamy
opens up a
postać,
new way to tell
wybieramy
stories with this
ekwipunek,
amazing
wybieramy też
cast of
skin.
heroes and villains.
O, na
That
przykład
extends
złoty
to the
możemy
art,
mieć, jak
with
pewnie
representations
ubijemy,
of
animowane,
characters in
o,
different
super.
stages of their own lore. We all know Arthas and his
Oj,
path from
o,
beloved
tak,
prince
tak,
to
tak,
Lich
tak,
King.
tak.
When you first unlock a mercenary, you'll have the default portrait as shown for Arthas here. Each character
Okay.
also has 2 alternates which can be earned from mercenary packs and in some cases tasks. Their portraits are a snapshot of notable growth and notoriety to collect, and you'll find the theme consistent throughout the roster. On top of the portraits, there are also different frame rarities, from normal to golden to diamond, and each bringing more gravitas with added animations and effects. Next, feast your eyes on this young and adorable King Crush. He may have started out cute as a button, but once those teeth grew in... Yeah, distract your enemies with extreme cuteness or intimidate with pure terror. It's up to you. As you unlock
Ale
and
coś
collect
widzieliście na
portraits, you'll
środku?
open up
Jest
new
takie
ways to
kółko
bring
na
the
tym
mercenary
arcie.
characters together. Maybe you want to have Illidan, Tyrande, and Malfurion all teaming up during simpler times. In addition to customizing cosmetics, you'll come here to upgrade abilities and equipment. In Mercenaries,
Tyrande.
unlocking a higher rank of an ability significantly increases that character's power level. When a new mercenary joins your collection at level 1, they will have a single ability. The second unlocks at level 5,
Ale
and the
będzie
third unlocks when the
osobna
character
jakaś
reaches
waluta,
level 15.
że
Let's take a look at Millhouse's
będziemy to
kit,
robić za
Arcane
jakieś
Assault, to
inne
compare his
punkty.
ability ranks. These are typically a linear increase to effectiveness, but in the case of Arcane
lody,
Bolt, you'll be
lody.
able to ramp up the spell damage you gain more quickly in addition to a boost in raw damage. Upgrading is done through a new in-game resource system called Mercenary Coins. Each character has their own coin, which you'll earn from bounties, PvP, and mercenary packs. Now let's shift gears to teams. In the Tavern's Mercenary Collection, you'll see a sidebar to manage teams similar to standard card decks. A team in Mercenaries is made up of 6. While you can only have 3 in play, the remaining 3 will make up the bench. When one of your in-play mercenaries falls in battle, you'll bring in a member from the bench at the end of that combat round. So far today, we've taken a look at how this huge new mode's gameplay works, with several reveals of mercenaries and their abilities, equipment, and art. What do you think, Asiba? Are we ready
Asiba,
to dive
zagraj
into team
aktorsko,
building?
dawaj.
Absolutely. All of you have now seen the core components that define an individual mercenary. Now the fun really starts as we start looking at the bigger picture of maximizing synergies. You never know exactly which mercenaries you'll discover in the world, but there are a variety of opportunities to bring them together in complementary ways. Let's start with a few examples of the most familiar relationships, minion types. Murlocs offer versatile strength
Ona umarła w środku.
and work together to overwhelm their opponents with agile aggression and power in numbers.
Widzę lodziki wykupione. Devour, Felfin, Navigator.
Now, if you're more of a land animal person, we got you covered. You'll also find plenty of Azeroth's fiercest beasts and renowned handlers.
Lead a demon army into battle and dominate your enemies with overwhelming numbers.
Jo, to dupia. Szczerze, to na razie trochę nie umie się wyłapać w tym, jak tak patrzę i mam to wszystko takie... Ja bym musiał to dostać i sobie na spokojnie to poklikać. Tak, na ten moment to tak jakby nie ogarniam tego. Wiem, że są... Oni mają te karty dodatkowe umiejętności, dodatkowy ekwipunek, ale musiałbym to dostać, żeby sobie w to zagrać, bo nie wiem, o co tu chodzi dokładnie później, co tam się dzieje.
While the loyalties and motivations of certain characters may clash, combining wielders of a specific magic will unlock incredibly powerful combos and teamwork. Fire synergy can come from a traditional fire mage to elementals to a whirlwind of flames itself and can chain their abilities to unleash AoE destruction.
Dupło.
Wow, that team looks pretty intense. I think we need to chill out a bit and move on to the next spell school.
Okej. Magia. Lodu. I krytyczne ciosy. No, zajebiście tutaj synergia. Okej.
Let's look at the tremendous support and sustain a holy team can provide.
O kurwa, Holy, Uther, Velen i Tyrion. I oto dupia, bańki. Jep, jep.
Now we can't show Holy without its polar opposite. The suppression and
Shadow.
control that Shadow Magic lends can be deadly with some clever play.
Hooray!
Again, there are plenty more spell schools to explore and build teams around in Mercenaries, but I hope you're all enjoying a preview to start considering how these synergies can be leveraged.
Definitely. We didn't even check out nature yet, and that's gotta be one of my favorites. But the show must go on. In addition to spell schools and minion types, there are other outside-the-box ways to approach combat strategy. Let's check out one more
Ja pierdzielę, ta
example
baba
using
jest
traps,
martwa w
traps,
środku, po
and a combo
prostu
keyword to build
jest
momentum.
kukłą, którą chyba, nie wiem... No nie wiem... Może ona jest wygenerowana jakoś. CGI.
Remember that a team has 6 mercenaries, so combining 2 to 3 of these themes amongst your roster is a pretty good idea. Alright, that wraps up this stop of the tour. I'm sticking around at the tavern. Where are you taking these fine viewers next, Hasiba?
We're actually headed towards the portal. See you in a bit, Joe. Now it's
See
time
you
to
later,
how you'll
bitch.
access the world
Co ona
and take
powiedziała?
on bounties in Mercenaries. So the portal here is what we call the travel point. Initially, you'll have to make do with a reliable Dark Moon mare to get the job done. But as you upgrade the village, the technology and capability of the travel point increases. Let's head into the game to learn a little bit more about... Wait, is that Sarge? Sarge, what are you doing? You're supposed to be in the tavern. What do you mean there's not enough cheese? There's so much cheese in there.
Kurwa, cheesy,
Okay,
stinky
fine. If you
cheese
have
to
to
jest
go,
ta
then pick me up a
sytuacja
block of
teraz.
Darnassian blow, please. And be careful, it's dangerous out there. We're very excited to
To
announce
jest-
that Sarge will be available as a new World of Warcraft mount when the game
Aha,
launches.
monta szczura dali.
Complete the Mercenaries tutorial and start your first bounty to automatically unlock Sarge on your WoW count. Interacting with the travel point is your first step to starting a bounty, which you can think of as a PvE mission. There are several zones to explore, along with progressively higher level targets to hunt. Let's dive in and head to Felwood. Here we have the available bounties with some information to help you decide on the right job. The target of a bounty will be the final boss of that run, so noting their role can be beneficial in bringing your A-team of counters. I think we'll take on Raven the Hunter's bounty for some good old Furbolg fighting. Remembering that our target is a protector, I'm thinking this arcane awesomeness team here will fare quite well, since it has all of our highest level caster mercs. So, in we go to Felwood to find Raven. Every bounty map is procedurally generated, meaning you'll get unique map layouts along with randomized encounter enemies and points of interest to navigate. Clicking on the nodes gives you some details, but you'll also need to use your intuition and decide which routes to take along the way. Let's unpack some of the obstacles and rewards for clearing them that you'll find on your adventures. Minor encounters are made up of enemies that should be manageable given your team is on par with that bounty's power level. Keep your guard up though, as losing members on your team will restrict your options in the long run. Here, you'll find not all enemies have an alignment, and they can also have keyword effects like Death Rattle. Always take a moment to scope out their moves and strategize a game plan. Now, the exciting part. Encounter victories reward experience to all members of your party. On top of that, one mercenary in your party will be rewarded with a discovered treasure that can bolster stats and abilities or add an entirely new spell or attribute. Treasure bonuses last throughout that bounty run, but are not permanent upgrades to the mercenary. Side note, as long as one mercenary is still standing at the end of a battle, all damage on that mercenary will be fully recovered
Odkryj.
before the next encounter. Elite encounters work the same way, but the risks and rewards are far greater. These enemies will offer a major challenge, and it's unlikely that your party will come out unscathed. Then again, think of the super treasure. Substantially bigger bonuses come from besting these
Bigger
elites
boner,
and can give you a
powiedziała.
crucial advantage for the final battle. You'll also come across spirit healers that simply revive any fallen members of your party. After limping away from an elite encounter, this can be a beautiful discovery that saves your bounty run. Beyond encounters and spirit
Slay the
healers,
Hearthstone,
keep
slay
an
the
eye
Spire,
out for the
slay
many
the
other curveball
karty.
points of interest that fill the roads to bounty bosses. Take the mysterious stranger, where choosing to engage can reveal a helpful ally, confounding adversary, or a neutral surprise. Or you can find and activate boons that empower all characters of a specific role for the rest of the bounty, including enemies. Alas, after battling your way through the twists and turns, you've made it to the end of the line. The final and greatest challenge will be your bounty target, occupying a special boss room along with their hoarded treasures. Now it's time to bring out the best of your team and maximize the value of every treasure, boon, and bonus to
Dobra.
finish the job. Successfully completing the bounty will immediately
Dobra,
open
powiem tyle, moi drodzy. Widzę, że 15 pay the spire. Slay the spire, you get the whole game for $20. Pay the spire piszą. Pay the spire. Slay the spire, but pay to win. Pay the spire.
Completing the same bounty for that certain special mercenary loot makes sense. Let's
Widzowie
go back to the
coś
travel point menu, where you'll also see additional difficulties.
niezadowoleni.
A quick note that completing all of the bounties in each zone on normal will get your team well into the 20 to 25 level range. So what comes next? Once you upgrade the travel
Ja
point
jestem
in
już
your
kurde
village
zmęczony
from a
tym
warp
wszystkim.
to a flight point, sorry horse, heroic difficulty will be unlocked. Bounty difficulties can be toggled at any time in the village. Heroic versions of a bounty will obviously scale up.
Dobra,
the power
powiem
level of
tyle.
enemies and
Trochę już mam to w dupie. Wystarczy mi informacja, co to będzie, tak? Wiem już, jak to będzie wyglądało. Mniej więcej wiem. Wiem, kim jest ta pani Hasira, czy nie wiem, jak się nazywa. Ale jest super urocza i w ogóle nie okazuje emocji. No i co jeszcze? No i że tryb będzie i będzie trzeba zapłacić też za ten tryb chyba. Nie wiem, co się będzie za darmo on będzie, czy co tam trzeba. Karty będzie trzeba do niego dokupić chyba. Czyli osobny deck będzie do kupienia. Osobne karty będą do kupienia. Czyli będzie trzeba pieniędzy wydupczyć. No, dokładnie. Czyli... Słuchajcie. Pakiety są za misję, pokazywali za darmo. No, zostaje... Powiem tyle. Dobrze, że mam zarobionych dużo pieniądzów w grze. To mogę coś tam pokombinować.
In the essence of civility, we like to keep all the drama contained here in the fighting pit. This functions as your access point to battling other players. And now I'll let our resident PvP expert Joe fill you in on what to expect.
PvP expert, moi drodzy.
So you've bested a few bounties, and now your party is ready to challenge other players. Well, step on down into the fighting pit. I'm game designer Joe Killian, here to show you the
Dobra.
ropes of PvP and mercenaries.
Będzie
Once you've
PvP?
unlocked and built the fighting pit, and you're
Pokażcie to
all ready,
PvP jeszcze.
Cieszę się.
Dzięki Szczurek, że zasubskrybowałeś. Witaj
inside,
ponownie.
you can select from your teams and prepare
No, pokaż
just
jak będzie
like choosing a
PvP
deck
wyglądało,
in
no.
At launch, a mercenaries PvP match
SZCZUREK
will consist of both players
155
bringing
jest
a
szefem
single
od
team
15
save.
miesięcy.
And just
OS
like in a
umarnuje
bounty
swoje
encounter,
życie
defeating your
oglądając
opponent's
gówno
entire
symulatory
party
i grę
is your
EP.
victory. One key difference from other game
Tak jest.
modes is that you take your party into combat as is. That means the progress you've earned in mercenary levels, ability tiers, and equipment all play a direct role into your PvP prowess. As you can imagine, the matchmaking in Mercenaries is quite a bit more complex than other game modes, since it needs to weigh all of these aspects to ensure relatively even power levels. While you'll always be paired up against opponents with teams of similar strength, we love that these factors open up a ton of potential for unique asymmetrical matches.
Dobra, powiem tyle.
Now let's talk strategy.
Dobra, już mnie to nie obchodzi. Słuchajcie, bo ja muszę się śpieszyć. Ja śpieszę się do weterynarza. Ja muszę te leki odebrać. Słuchajcie, możecie sobie zobaczyć oficjalny stream, albo streamuje MKR, streamuje jeszcze Czarek, streamuje ktoś jeszcze. Możecie sobie zobaczyć. Ja się z wami żegnam. Tyle na ten temat. Chciałem zobaczyć, co to będzie za tryb. Powiem tyle. To tyle powiem, że jak wyjdzie, to będziemy sprawdzać. A dzisiaj chyba o 19, nie wiem, podobno o 19 miał być restart, czy miał być update bo ustawkę będziemy lecieć od zera. Podobno dojdzie 35 kart, 2 nowych bohaterów, wejdą nerfy kart oraz w ustawce będą zrestartowane ratingi. Więc lecimy od zera jutro. A niektórzy już dzisiaj będą lecieć. Trzymajcie się, do zobaczenia i życzę wam miłego wieczorku i widzimy się jutro na streamku od 10. Do zobaczenia.